All right, we're back again for part 3. Again, we'll just pick up where we were. This is the Bliss Life podcast, and there's 2 more parts before this, or you could go over to iTunes to get the whole thing. And we're talking about how to break your routine, the habit, your thoughts, and everything that is recreating the life that you don't want, and open to the flow of abundance to follow. So we're looking at how is abundance, cash flow, or large salary, or any of these other things to you, and to make sure you look at not attachment to them, but clarity if they are. So the wealthy woman or the wealthy man inside of you says, yes, absolutely. Cash flows in from multiple sources all the time. It's very easy. I'm well taken care of. I have a large client list, lots of investments and savings, and I have multiple streams of income. I'm so pleased, and money and I are great friends, right? And the poor girl says, oh my God, I don't have enough cash flow. I didn't get a big salary. I don't have a large client list. I'll never be good enough, right? So that side of the same thing is the worries and the fears or the other people's voices. Now, is abundance lots of juicy opportunities and lots of friends that you love and a sincere support network and a loving relationship with your kids or your partner? So that obviously didn't get finished right there. There are some. But so this is, again, another one. So look at one wealthy woman, poor girl, wealthy man, poor guy belief around this aspect of abundance. So, is abundance a lot of juicy opportunities in whatever it is you love? Could be your hobby, could be for your kids, could be for your business, could be whatever. To me, yes. So my wealthy woman says, oh, there are so many juicy opportunities. Everywhere I look, there's gold, right? I have so many amazing deep friends. I have such a sincere and loving support network. I love my peaceful, loving relationship with my kids, and so on. So you write that down on the wealthy woman or wealthy man side of your column, and that will trigger the poor guy or the poor girl to come up with a response. Well, you never get the opportunities, and your friends always screw you over, and nobody's sincere. And you remember in the past when this person did that and whatever. Okay. So this is, you want to hear the poor girl. Okay. You understand me? You're not trying to cover it up. This isn't about covering up symptoms. This is not Western medicine. This is true abundance, healing, transformation, rewiring of your mind and your energy. Let's have some real change rather than a bunch of bullshit of getting ready to start your intention to think about doing this. In the meantime, taking a bunch of pills, metaphorically, or maybe literally, to appease yourself from having to look at the pain or look at the poor girl. Let her talk. She needs to talk. The parts of you that are pissed, that are hurt, that are afraid, that are hiding, that are scared, need to be seen and heard and hugged and loved and introduced back into who you are. Become whole again. Let the poor girl speak. So we say these things, or we look at the picture of money to see what that poor girl inside of you says. And you write it down and you look at it. And you hold her or him in your lap, and together you cry and you remember and you let the energy go and you accept it. And then you realize with compassion, you can transcend it. You can become in harmony with it. You can forgive it. You can let it go. You can turn it into something else, because all you really want is to get the energy back to create the new you. Greg Braden said, the world around us is nothing more and nothing less than a mirror of what we have become from within. The amazing thing is that the poor girl or poor guy inside of us and the wealthy woman or wealthy guy inside of us and everything else, the parts of us we've shoved down into the shadows and locked away, and the parts that spoke up and got us in trouble, and the parts that led everybody on a revolt, and then they were all imprisoned or killed, and we feel guilty that we caused everyone's responsibility. Let these fears come up. Stop hiding them. Stop suppressing them. Feel them, accept them, move through it. In a day, an hour, a weekend, come on a retreat, do something. Cleanse, purify, allow it to come up. Cleanse, purify, and come in. Look into the mirror, because it's going to tell you exactly what you've become. What does that mean? When you came in, you didn't come in as a blank slate. You came in as a soul who had intentionally decided you wanted to become, to learn, to release, to embody, to ascend particular things, particular qualities. And then you chose certain parents and a certain lifestyle and a certain body and certain things. And you got a certain number of your spiritual friends, your other people who are all one. So you went and said to yourself, hey, who's going to be down here doing this groovy form thing with me at the same time and is willing to do a little favor for me? Would you kick my ass? Would you be mean to me? Would you be kind to me? Would you do this for me? Would you do that for me? Okay, cool. Because it's going to do something for you too. How does it serve you? Great. Now, we're both going to benefit from it. It may be fun. It may not be fun, but we know we're going to need the reminder or the trigger. Get the hell out of that relationship. Get the hell out of this job. Stop being who you were told to be. Start being somebody else. Let things fall apart. Let things destruct. Metamorphosize. You have to liquefy within. You have to liquefy on the energetic and mental and emotional levels before the physical cellular level is going to change. But you can flip your DNA switches. So that's why we want to break the routine of how we think. More money. So I showed this picture the other day in the Light Body School when we were doing one of the calls on breaking the money fears in order to align with your money flow. And people shared their reaction to the money. So I want you to, again, write your reaction to it now that we've been talking for a little while, and I've been raising your energy, and I've been opening your mind, and I've been aligning you with the concept that you can change. You have the power to break the way you are, because even though you came in with ideas on a soul level, then you took a body. And you chose the body for specific reasons, but the body also had beliefs in it from your physical ancestor DNA lineage. And then the family that you landed in, when you came into form, when you jumped into your body, into your car, and started to drive around on the planet, while you were getting used to your body, you were forming into that body, you were hanging around your mom, and you were listening. And you were starting to be programmed with their thoughts and their beliefs and their fears and their joys and their tastes in food and music and everything else. And then you born into that family, and that was their job. They filled you up with a whole bunch of structures so you could figure it out. And by the time you were 7, you had a whole structure of thinking and believing mostly the way your family taught you, your ancestors taught you, and a little tiny bit of your soul. But at that point, at 7, your soul enters your body all the way. Before that, it is stages, because it cannot blend with your tiny body and your lack of capacity, right? You can only bring a little bit in at a time. Now, you begin to pursue your own thoughts and desires, to begin to see that you're separate from your pattern, family and your culture, and to begin to entertain thoughts that are different. But depending on how you were raised, most likely you were not encouraged to be different. You were manipulated, threatened, or ridiculed, or teased, or firmly instructed to behave along certain lines that was acceptable to your family or your culture, your group, your family, your institution, your school, your religion, whatever it was. Your beliefs about whether money is good or bad, having it is good or bad, charging so much is good or bad, fair or not fair, whether there's enough money or not enough money, whether you or your family or people like you or people your gender or whatever are allowed to have money, should have money, will have money, is easy to have money or not. You were told somewhere at some point, whether you were good with money, smart with money, not smart with money, bad management with money, that you shouldn't make money decisions. You made different decisions around money or credit or debt or investments or buying things all throughout your life, and you were agreed with or disagreed with. You were guilted or criticized. You went from having no control or power over money as a child to going to where you made your own money. You started to be able to make your own choices on how you spent that money. And maybe you made a mistake, or you racked up a lot of debt, or you invested with somebody who crashed, or you expected your income to keep going up, but the market you were in died, or something else happened, because guess what? That's life. But you didn't know. Perhaps you were told everything always goes up. That's what I was taught. Just expect for your income to go up all the time every year. You'll get a raise or whatever will happen, and that's the way that works. Well, my family, my parents' generation, that was true for them. That was their experience. So that's what they taught us. Because in their era after the war, everything went up. It got better and better. Things got more and more prosperous. You almost had to be stupid to not get things better in your life, right? But not now, and certainly not for 20 or 30 years now. We're in a time that's moving faster. We're in the age of information. In the age of information, you don't need families and institutions and instructions to tell you who you are and what to do, or what's true or what's not true, or to learn something new. You can find that out for yourself in almost a gazillion different ways. Now you have to sort the information that you listen to. That's why I told you earlier, don't believe everything you hear and say, even if it's from your mom or your teacher or your brother or your pastor or your employer. Decide for yourself. Break the routine of being anybody else. So one of the people in my class said that they loved this picture. The minute that they saw it, they were filled with delight, like it was a giant box or a pot of all this money that was being offered to them, and they joyfully just dipped their hand in and grabbed $200 or $300 bills and put them towards something that they wanted. And then they reached back in happily, and they felt okay with it, and they didn't feel greedy, and they felt like there's more than enough energy, and nobody was like saying, well, you're being greedy by taking more than your share, right? Weren't we taught that? Don't take 2 popsicles, or don't take more than 1 piece of candy, or don't expect more, don't want more, don't think you're better than. We're taught these things as a kid, like don't think that the world revolves around you. Hey, wake up. It sure the hell does. Nobody else is creating my reality. So you taught me to not create my own reality. And now it's being run by all these people in your head and all these beliefs from the past and all these fears from your ancestors. And they don't support you. So breaking the routine of being who your family was. If you hear someone say, this is the way we've always done it, run for the hills. Say, okay, well, we better change that. If you realize that you eat dinner at the same time, it seems silly. Why not do it differently? If you always sit at the table, sit on the couch. If you always sit on the couch, sit outside. If you always sit, whatever. You see what I mean? If you plan all your meals during the week, don't plan. Oh my God, I can hear you freaking out. If you never plan your meals, try planning them. This is about getting out of your comfort zone so that you can live with uncertainty. So if you don't have the wealthy woman perspective by seeing this picture like Julie did about, oh, thank you. Yes, I need 300 for this and I'll take 500 for that. And I think, yes, I'll take 10 of them. Thank you so much because I do have this other thing I would love that for. What a beautiful idea. So I want you to write this down on your wealthy woman or man, poor girl, poor guy side. What's the fear around seeing this? Do you feel like if you dip in and take, even though it's being offered freely, if people are going to see you as greedy? If you're going to be afraid that you're somehow a bad person or you're doing something wrong, that one would certainly come up for me. You're being selfish, which is another way of saying you're greedy, which was very, very bad, which meant that you had a character flaw because you wanted more. What a ridiculous thing to tell people. Now, yes, do we need to learn that, hey, there's 10 things here and there's 10 of you children. So everyone only gets 1 this time, okay? Thanks so much. But you never say, because you want another one, you're selfish. That's stupid. Everybody wants another one of something they like. Everyone wants another potato chip or whatever that ad is, right? You can't just eat one. So your wealthy woman or man says, well, excuse me. Of course, I want more of something delicious and rich and luxurious, like a relationship with my soulmate, or absolute mind-blowing sex, or complete love of my body, or an incredibly excellent client that just pours and showers money on me every month because we have such a synergistic relationship that I can be giving at my best and they can be receiving at their best, and we're both growing and increasing, and oh my gosh, it's amazing. And if I reach in here and say, yes, please, I need 10,000 more of these, what comes up for you? There's not enough. That's the first thing that pops up in 99% of people's things. You immediately see the bottom of this barrel, not all of this money. There's a limit. That's a poor girl thought. Money is limited. There's only so much. I'm bad or greedy if I take too much. If I take the money, will I be taking away from others? Do you really think that God or source or nature or physics or energy would take money away from a little old lady down the street to give it to you because you decided to declare that you're abundant and you're ready and willing to receive fantastic clients that pour money and bring referrals and have cash flow coming from 5 multiple streams of income into your bank account every month? Of course it's not. But if it's a belief that's embedded inside of you, it doesn't matter if your logical mind realizes it true. So don't poo-poo it, because the inner you, the poor girl, she's got way more power, baby, until you interrupt her routine of feeling not good enough and feeling greedy and fear of what people think and fear of retribution and fear of looking like XYZ, fear of not being liked, or whatever else is in there. So I want you to go back again now and look at this picture. This is a bottomless pit. It's endless. There is no bottom. The field of abundance is infinite. The source of all that is infinite. It literally cannot be used up. You couldn't put a dent in it if you tried. You get to choose because you manifested yourself a body. You came down here. You have a direct light antenna and connection to this source energy, to this vital life force energy above and below you, the energy that comes from the earth to create things into form, and the energy that comes from what you would call sight, source, or higher energy, or your soul, or your purpose, that puts the idea of what the energy from the earth should turn into. So it's like taking the clay, and then your higher energy is going to come in and say, oh, I know what I want. I want to go on this epic Mayan retreat. I want to kiss and play with dolphins. I want to learn to become a healer. I want to open my heart and forget the pain that it's had. Forget the pain that it's had and have the sexiest, juiciest, most loving, reliable, cozy, trusting relationship with money and abundance, and become the strong, open, clear channel to reach into this pot and take as much as I want and need any moment that it is, never from that lack, never from fear, always knowing everyone can dip in here. And I can dip in here anytime I want. So now, I would like to dip in and take 10,000 of these $100 bills right now. Do it and see the energy and vision that comes up in you now. What is your wealthy woman state? Did you ask the poor girl to just be quiet for a second so you can show her a magic trick? Watch. You think there's not enough. If I take 10,000, I'm a bad little girl. I've done something wrong. Nobody will like me. I'll be punished. Things will be taken from me. And then I'll be a greedy, selfish person, which means I'm a bad person, which means I can't love myself, which means that I have to be depressed the rest of my life. That's kind of what's inside of most people, right? So what's going on right now? Bring the poor girl or the poor guy with you that says there's not enough. Say, look, you're living in an illusion. You're living in a house of mirrors. You know those at the fair? It's reflecting back to you everything that you've heard around you, that there isn't enough and that you don't deserve enough. And if you take too much, you're not good or whatever. Guess what? It's not true. And I'm going to show you the magic trick to walk through the mirror. Just like Alice in Wonderland. Go down the rabbit hole. Take back your power. Dive in. You can't go deep enough into this pile of money. You can't go deep enough into the source energy of abundance to feed your power, your love, your ideas, your source, your contribution to the world, your spiritual growth, your manifesting abilities, the love that you give, the kindness you can share, the creativity you can channel. Money loves you. Money wants to play with you. Money is willing to run to you. You can take as much as you want. You can dip as deep as you want. Dive in. Let go. Accept it. It's true. It's here. It's time for you to let it go. Bring the poor girl with. Hold her in your arms, merge your hearts together. Feel the fear and anticipation. Be willing to step out of your comfort zone. Be willing to risk being the bad girl and dive in. The illusion leaves you. The minute that you dive in, there's never, ever, ever an end to the flow of love, abundance, joy. There's never, ever, ever an end to the flow of energy and ideas and opportunities. Please, please dip deep. Take what you need to step into the next unknown. And then know this is always here. You don't have to hoard it. You don't have to see it. You don't have to know where it's coming from. You have to remember it and trust it. That it's always there. And this will open just like that the minute that you declare, I am a wealthy, abundant, joyful, and I accept the harmony and peace. I accept the joy, the love, the pleasure. I accept the vitality, the energy, the flexibility. I accept the income, the cash flow, the opportunities. I accept the partners, the clients, the friends, the employees, the employers. I accept this and something better. This and something better. And now I'm going to count from 3 to 1. And this endless carpet bag, like Mary Poppins, of money is going to turn into an endless, bottomless field of what? What is the other thing you know absolutely that you want above all other things? Love, acceptance, clients, opportunities, energy, clarity. 3, I am the master of my reality and I now transform the vision because I have accepted it with every part of my being that I have access to this infinite, bottomless field of abundance in the form of cash and money, in dollars, in euros, in pesos, in pounds, in anything, in any form, in investors, and in credit. I have access to this just like that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now I ask for this to transform. 3, from an infinite field of cash, money, credit, into an infinite field of 2 and 1. It's your choice. See it and feel it. Dive in. And as it appears to you, or you feel it, or you sense it, or you imagine it, begin to immerse yourself. Literally, you dove in. Is it in love or friendship? Is it in clients, or is it in peace, serenity, spiritual transformation, understanding? Maybe it's an abundance of time, understanding. Maybe it's an abundance of trust, stability, grounding. I now accept, let go all that keeps me from fully accepting this abundance of money and fill in the blank. I now let go and forgive and become harmonious with money and I now transcend the past, the patterns, the thoughts, the fears, and rise up, up, up with ease and grace into compassion, unfolding my heart, my mind, my wings, my skills, blending back into one with my true self, the two sides available. Duality and polarity are mine. I am the creator of my reality. I now break my routine and allow the abundance to follow. And so it is. Deep breath in, fill yourself up. Send your intention out. Deep breath in. Money loves me. Money plays with me. Bring play into this field and flow of abundance. Money runs to me because now I'm ready and open and willing and receptive and worthy. I know there's more than enough for everyone, and any feeling or thought that keeps me from allowing the full flow of abundance to pour into my life now dissolves and disappears and becomes more power to be able to receive. I am fully open and receptive to the flow of abundance that is optimal for me at this time. I purify and wash away all thoughts, feelings, cellular memories, all patterns that block the flow of abundance, money, opportunities, joy, my own wealthy new mindset. I am one with the bliss of the soul blueprint that I chose. I am one with the frequency of money as my ally peaceful, loving, supportive, powerful, empowering, joyful, kind ally. I am one with the joy and the love and the passions in my heart. And I allow the money to flow to my passions, to flow to my life, to flow to my true heart's path. And I am one with the optimal flow of abundance for me at this time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Feel it flowing to you, through you, around you, immersing and moving through your emotional body, through your mental body, and through your physical body. Wave after wave, like the power of the pyramid of the magicians, wave after wave, like the power of the realignment from a dolphin's sonar. Wave after wave from your friends and allies all around you that are here to help you raise your frequency, to break you free of your patterns and your thoughts and your fears. You see the doorway breaking open and light all around you and clarity breaking free. And you feel your body now breathing a deeper light, lighter and lighter. Freer and freer, newer and newer. I am the flow. I am the flow. I am the flow. I am the divine, abundant being that I designed myself to be. I now live my purpose and release myself from agreements, obligations, and vows, from fears and collective conscious beliefs that hold me back, that tie me down, that make me small, that bind my voice, my hands, my heart, my power. I am that I am. And that is an abundant being with cash flowing, clients and friends and allies, supporters, investors, believers, friends, infinite experiences of joy and bliss and healing. Abundance in all forms. I am the flow. I allow it all to come. I accept it and I give great gratitude. Game on. Let's play. I am here to play full out. And I awake every day at a new level of excitement and joyful anticipation about the infinite possibilities available to me today. And so it is. Put your hands on your heart, press down, anchor this into you. Yes, yes, yes. As you come back from this amazing experience of breaking your routine and aligning with the abundance flow, I want to alert you to something. When you truly decide to shift your energy, to go under the story, to stop feeling like a victim, to stop believing anything and start creating your reality instead. And it's a journey and we all have to do it. Some of us have done it for a while and some of us have done it even longer and some of us are just starting to do it. It doesn't matter where you are on the path. Jump on. Come visit me at Light Body School or come on one of my retreats. Do something, please, to break your routine. And then think about this. We spend a lot of time in our lives desiring and dreaming and wishing and hoping. And sometimes we do it very intentionally, very positively, like saying, yes, I'm going to create this and I'm going to write my affirmations and I'm going to create a vision of what I want and I'm going to focus on it and I'm going to work on myself. And sometimes it's frustrating and disappointing and sometimes it's successful and sometimes it feels hard and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And here's the thing. Have you ever realized that you may not be prepared to receive the abundance, whether it's money or happiness or joy or opportunities or success or whatever? I recently heard Joe Dispenza say that after the What the Bleep movie came out that he was in, that increased his fame dramatically, and of course then his income and all the other opportunities that came from that. So it was a huge portal of abundance for him. But I don't know the particulars, but he said this was a really challenging time and that he seriously contemplated stepping out of the public eye because it was very stressful. When you attract more money or more abundance, more power, more influence, more connections, more ability to be seen, you want your voice out there, please realize that you're going to attract attention. Some of it positive, some of it not. You can't believe the other parts. You can't listen unless you believe it to be good feedback. You have to realize that you maybe have been spending your whole life wishing and wanting something was true and not spending enough time being in what it would be like so you're ready when it shows up. I've had clients work their butts off and then do deep inner work with me and manifest what they want and reject it or repel it or not be able to see they have it or not enjoy it because they haven't done the inner work to feel worthy of it or to see it as abundant or to see it as enough or to live in the joy of the present moment and enjoy it instead of feeling fear about it being lost or it going away or what will I have to do next. A true story is a client of mine, and the other day I said it was Denise and it wasn't, I'm sorry, it was Deborah, manifested all her big and small dreams within a few months of our deep inner work together. And so we did this deep inner work and we broke the patterns and we found the patterns and we rewired the patterns and then reinforced the new patterns. And I'll tell you what, it was quite stunning to watch what she did because she was ready and she did whatever came up. She moved to a new city. She ended a relationship that was dragging her down. She'd been trying to figure out how to get out of. She began to pursue her true passion as a business. And she even had a play she had written debut to rave reviews and then more city bookings. I think there was more stuff, but that's what I could remember. And what happened next was shocking to her. And so a few months later, she contacted me and she said, I think I need to work with you some more. Do you have something that would help me? I was starting a Bliss Business Design Group. And so she joined in. On the very first call, everybody shared who they were, what their desires were, where they were in their life, what they wanted to achieve. And this is what she said. I never realized how unprepared I was to have everything I wanted come true. In fact, I feel a bit lost and overwhelmed. And she was crying and she really had a very strange time of it because she thought, well, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be so much fun. So one, if this is happening to you, don't get down on yourself and go get depressed because it's not doing it right and you're not reaching the joy, because that just keeps the joy further away from you, right? Adding more pressure and heaviness and judgment, dragging you down to low, guilty energies. What you want to do is say, holy cow, look at that. And you bring the poor girl or the poor guy over, your alter ego who holds all this stuff, and say, look at this. I didn't even think about preparing us to get everything you wanted. And now you're not even acknowledging it, or you're poo-pooing it, or you're criticizing it, or you're full of fear of losing it. And I didn't even realize we need to have a powwow about this. Come on, let's have a meeting. So this is what your job is. You were told to be afraid of this and to make sure it doesn't happen because of whatever reasons. And this is what I've decided to do. I've gone out and changed myself. I've changed my beliefs. I've changed my energy. I've learned how to change my energy. I've broken my habits. I've gotten out of my thing. I went to Bliss Life retreats, right? I did all this. And guess what? It's happening. But I can't appreciate it or enjoy it, and I'm not aware of it, and I'm full of fear every night. And I keep thinking I'm going to lose it, or something's wrong, or it's must be an illusion. And I want to be here fully present. I want to enjoy it for all the time that it's here, and to appreciate it, and to acknowledge that I created it, and that it's there, and that it could stay, but it'll change. And whatever way it changes, it'll be good. But in this moment, I'm going to love it. And I'm also going to appreciate it and acknowledge myself and how amazing and powerful I am, because dang, look what I created. I love this. Thank you for this. More of this, please. So isn't that interesting? I want you to understand that when you do this deep work, whether you come to my retreat or work with me one-on-one or join the Light Body School or you do something else or you listen to my podcast, whatever it is, you're awakening. Everybody is awakening and we're all moving. Doesn't matter what you're experiencing. Some people I see, oh, the energies are so hard right now. And I'm thinking, oh my God, they're so amazing. They're just lifting me up and lifting me up and lifting me up. But it's because I got on top of the wave. I'm not being bowled over by the wave. And that just depends on where you are in your growth and your phase. And you can flip the switch on that. That's the beauty of understanding the energy, understanding the mind, understanding the patterns. So we spend so much time chasing the money and the skinny body and the hot guy and the respect or the promotion that we forget to enjoy and savor the moment, which is where the true abundance lies. Why? Lives. Because everything else is a wish. You can only live right now. You can get lost in your mind and imagine the future, and I highly recommend that you do. And you can get lost in your mind and design your bliss day. Right? Your work day or your joy day or your day with your soulmate. And I highly recommend you do. But then come back to the present moment and be in it, even if it's not what you want. Because in the present moment is when the doors are going to open, where there were walls. When you seek your bliss, you will find it. People will show up to help you and to point you in ways you don't know them. You don't know they're going to be there. And when you come on a Bliss Life retreat, it's stunning to me to watch what happens for everybody. Everybody, they might run into somebody else at the retreat or at one point during the retreat. Recently, Tracy came and it was her birthday. And she got up the morning of her birthday and she went out by herself and she walked down the main street here in Playa to have breakfast, before the beginning of the retreat day. She was deep and contemplative because it was her birthday. And it was, I believe, the third or fourth day of the retreat. And every day of the retreat is deep. Okay, you change from the minute you sign up. You change in day one. You change when you land here a day or two before. All right, so she was deep in her transformation, and she was deep in the energies of her birthday and her recent birthdays, which hadn't been so joyful recently. And she went down and she began to walk down the street, and her intention was to go to breakfast by herself and to be in this space until she came to start the day. The day happened to be the day we were staying home in our home here overlooking the ocean, where we bring in a chef, and we actually had the chef make her a special cake, as well as some cacao mousse and some other really delicious things. And we did healing and hugging and light technology. So it was a very yummy, juicy, cozy day. And she just happened to run into John, to another person on the retreat. And they talked a little bit, and she realized that they immediately had some kind of a deep connection in that moment. And they went to breakfast together, and they had an incredible conversation. I don't know what the details were, but they both showed up at the retreat that day, beaming from ear to ear, crying and hugging because of the heart connection and the transformation that they were able to share. And it was like her birthday started off with a massive gift, and it only got better from there. So when you chase things and you're not in the present moment, you will miss that. If you stay stuck to your plan, if she had said, no, my plan was to be by myself. It was nice to see you, John. I'll see you later in a couple hours at the retreat, but I really wanted to be by myself. And sometimes that is what's best for you, okay? So I'm not telling you if you run into somebody, you have to go be with them. That's your decision in that moment. You need to be in tune with your energies and know what's best for you. But how wonderful that the flow of life, the flow of abundance was allowed to guide them together for a few hours on that stream, or for a week during the retreat. They're going to come back together in July and August. So the stream of abundance is going to cross their channels again. I'm not trying to paint a love story, by the way. They're deep spiritual friends, which is what happens to people who comes on the retreats, because you have these transformations. It's like going through war with somebody, right? So the abundance lives in the moment. Why? Because that's where you get to experience it. That's where it is. It begins. It happens. It is true. So remember that your mind doesn't actually know the difference between you meditate, imagining, or visualizing something being true. That's why the more clearly you see it, the more emotionally you feel it in your meditations or your thoughts or your goals, the more that your actual brain restructures itself to look like somebody who already has that. So they tested it. They see this. If somebody learns how to play chess or play the violin, by imagining they're playing the violin or playing chess or playing basketball or running a winning race or singing the perfect concert or whatever it is, right? So somebody could practice singing, practice the violin, practice playing chess physically X number of times a day for X number of days, and the other person, never having played chess before or sang or played the violin or whatever, could just sit down for, I think it's 30 minutes a day, and visualize, imagine with every sense they can possibly imagine, and every time making it more real. Putting yourself into the moment when it's true is the secret to manifesting, because the more you imagine what it's like and feel it, you only have to fill it with the qualities. You don't have to know exactly who will be there and who paid you and what your clients were and where they came from. You don't have to know that shit. But you do need to be in that moment. So when you're in that moment, and you're in that moment right now, your brain is restructuring that you will look like and be able to sing or do whatever just the same as the person who actually physically practiced it. And you can look these studies up. Sounds crazy, but it's true. So what does that mean? It means that you just have to convince your mind of something, which means create a new pattern, belief, neural pathway, energetic connection. So interrupt the routine of the way you've been thinking. Reprogram it through meditation, through visualization, through these wealthy woman, poor girl sheets, through getting out of the routine of your life and be in the present moment. Go like, oh my gosh, I could just imagine being this, and then come back in the present moment and look for it, expect it, enjoy where you are, enjoy the abundance you have right now. Say, I love this, more of this, please. Okay? You might be incredibly abundant right now and you might not even know it. You could always appreciate the abundance that you have already, or the money that you have already, or the opportunities or the self-love that you have already, because it's just like a plant. Nurture it and it will grow. Opportunities are dancing all around you, okay, right now. And a shift in energy is what flips that switch for the money, for the client, for the job, for the partner, the house, the trip, the opportunity, the offer, whatever is your true dream, it is possible. This is what it looks like. All around you, all around you, all around you. Infinite number of possibilities that are already here for you. The only reason you can't see them is because of the way you think, the way you feel, the way you believe, the way you've built your life. So the scientists now who can study the brain, that's why they can see that your brain literally forms new neural pathways and new whatever, structures and so on, when you learn to do something new. And it'll do that if you just imagine it really well, though, of course, or if you actually do it. That doesn't mean go be lazy and not work out and move your body, okay? Your body is a body, it's in form, it needs to move. But the other thing is to realize that you are surrounded by these opportunities of what you could create if you just broke the routine and thought something new, believed something new, broke free from one poor girl attitude and brought her back in with a big hug to your heart and let go of her fear, let go of her job, free her from that job of having to be the one that said, don't do that, you'll be a bad person and get in trouble. There's not enough, and if you take more than your fair share, then you're going to get in trouble. That's what we were told. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and steal from homeless people or go to a party and take the whole cake and say, too bad, there's more than enough for me. I live in an abundant universe, okay? I'm telling you, begin to understand this is what it looks like. Start to decide you're going to see that. So the power of getting out of your habits, we've looked at that, right? And we've looked at why the comfort zone is really the death zone. So let's expand a little bit more on that before we close this experience together. Your comfort zone means what? You're in a routine. It's familiar. You feel safe. You feel comfortable. You maybe don't like it. You may be in pain. You might be unhappy. You might be under pressure or abused in your relationship, or you might whatever. But because it's your comfort zone, the deep primal part of us says, just stay there. You won't die. I'm here to protect you and keep you safe. The problem is there's nobody waiting to eat you outside the door like a predator of some kind. There is, however, the death of your dreams, the death of your energy, the death of your connection to your truth and your delight, because the poor girl takes over, the poor guy takes over and drags you down at every opportunity to guilt and shame and fear, and most of all to desire for something you don't think you can have, you don't think you will ever have, you think you had and lost, you think will never be able to have, or whatever else. It's all an illusion, Alice. You can grow to be 10 feet tall, 10 stories tall, or as tiny as a mouse. But your reality means you can't stay where you are. So just take the first step and say, I'm not going to have that argument with my partner again, or I am not going to have fear next time I ask for someone to buy my stuff. Well, you can say that. Then you have to go in and say, what does the poor girl have to say about that? So remember, work backwards, create your wealthy man, wealthy woman belief first. So that would be, oh my gosh, every time I get out of my comfort zone, the most amazing things happen, right? Every time I get out of my comfort zone, I got to kind of squeeze out. But you know what? I'm learning to just love it, to just jump off cliffs, to just open my heart. Because damn, there's stuff on the other side I couldn't have imagined. I never knew I would be able to do healing and kissing and hugging and know the dolphins. That's a dream from a kid that just never comes true. Who are you? Everybody wanted Flipper. You don't get that. I got that. But I didn't get it by being obsessed with it. In fact, I didn't even believe it was a real dream. Right? You have to get out of your comfort zone, which for me was to run and make some really dramatic changes. And oh my God, all of a sudden I'm living my exact dream, which is to see and to walk to the ocean. That didn't have to wait till I was a multimillionaire and I fixed all my relationships and I was skinny and thin and had the perfect business and everything was right. No. It actually manifested when I decided to let go of everything I did and how I had done it and go deeper within and recreate something new and more aligned with who I was, to go more into who I am. That's what you're doing. Leave your comfort zone. It is not where you're safe. It's where everything goes to die. So how do you find the simplest path to that higher state or emotion? You do what we just did. You do the wealthy woman, poor girl sheets. You pay attention when the fears come up, when you say, I am going to do this thing. And then you find these patterns come up. So I was telling you that in November, I decided I was going to do this new health regime. And I put every possible level of my life in it, from, what I was going to eat and how often and when I was going to get up and what I was going to do. Because I have these ideas of like, I want to start I do Tai Chi, but not as regularly as I want. And so things like that. So I organized the best possible routine, man. I had it all figured out, and I figured out how my day was going to look and where the time was going to come from. And then I enrolled my partner and I triggered, the day started. And over the next week, I did less and ate more than I do normally, without trying anything. Well, anybody experience that? That's called resistance. That's called, I'm trying to change too many things at the same time. Or I didn't go in and get an agreement with parts of me that are resistant to this to come along for this transformation. Or let's try one step and see. Or let's sit down and see what are the fears, and let that poor girl or poor guy, that's that part of you that's afraid or has held on to the beliefs that it's safer to stay overweight or to stay in this pattern or to keep doing this than not, or be too painful or whatever it is. Okay. The simplest path is to listen, to be present in the present moment. Listen to the parts of you that are afraid, envelop them in your love, reclaim the power from them, take them into that pile of money or into that abundant sea of serenity. Mine was me sort of floating underwater. And the water was the deepest blue that tinged out to kind of a green glow. And there was nothing there. There was no sea life around me. There was no coral. I could sort of see the surface, but I was looking at myself from below and in front of me. And I wasn't moving. I didn't have any gear on. I was just floating, but looking. And I thought, okay, I love swimming. What's this mean? And as I sat with it, this is when we dove into the pile of money, but it was what you wanted, more abundance of love or courage or whatever you wanted. I didn't know what I wanted. I asked for my soul, my higher self to show me. And so I just relaxed and I became the vision of what I was seeing. And what I felt was serenity and peace, weightlessness, right? Free. I was able to breathe underwater. I was able to float without effort. I didn't have to move. I could just be at one. I had a deeper connection to all that was. And it felt to me like the most happy, optimistic, beautiful place, but elegant and filled with mystery and magic, connected to oneness, to spirit and to form, to the earth and to heaven, sky, spirit. And so for me, what I chose to dive into, and you can change it every single time you do that exercise, either do this again or do it yourself. But that told me that my next best step towards my better flow of abundance is finding serenity and peace, letting go, trusting, being at one, going deeper, becoming one with that peace. Interestingly enough, that was what I wrote down during our class yesterday in Light Body School, was peace, serenity, optimism, and forgiveness. So we've learned the top 3 things. Now I want to close by sharing another Joe Dispenza quote for you. Warning, when feelings... Oh, okay, good. When feelings become the means of thinking, or if we cannot think greater than how we feel, we can never change. To change is to think greater than how we feel. To change is to act greater than the familiar feelings of the memorized self. Please step into the new you. Break your patterns, free your heart, the bliss will follow. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Much love and abundance to you. I look forward to seeing you at the Bliss Life Retreats or at the Crystal Lake Light Body Retreat or in the school, or let me know here on Facebook. What is it you want more of in the podcast? What is it you need to support you in your awakening? Have a beautiful and blessed day. Much love. Okay.